thank the chairman. There's no question about it that ISIS, as I call them, they are a bunch of bad people who just commit murder. And we are doing battle with ISIS. The United States has been in the Middle East with boots on the ground for a long time. Ambassador, would you say that the United States is at war with ISIS or not?
Congressman, having seen it up close, I would say we are at war with ISIS, yes.
It seems to me that our strategy is twofold at this point, or maybe threefold. Send aid to different groups, countries. There's 60-something nations that I understand are in the coalition to fight ISIS. One is to do airstrikes, as the chairman has mentioned. The success of those airstrikes depends on who you're talking to. I do not believe they have been quite as successful as we had hoped they would be. The other is to take Syrian moderate rebels, vet, train, and equip them to go back to Syria and defeat ISIS. How many of those people have been vetted, trained, and equipped and sent back to Syria to fight ISIS?
Congressman, again, it's a DOD program, and they can...
It's none. Isn't it correct, Ambassador? I mean, you're the ambassador.
Program.
You represent the State Department of the United States. We're at war with this country, or we're at war with ISIS. You can't tell me politically whether we have vetted, armed, and trained anybody yet and sent them back to Syria to fight ISIS. You can't
answer that question. I think I did answer it. The answer right now is no. And
none.
It was designed to be a long-term program, and we hope.
I understand, Ambassador. Just a second. No, you wait a minute. I'm asking the questions. You give the answer. The answer is we have not trained any, and then none of them are back over there. Meanwhile, ISIS is beheading people and committing all kinds of atrocities. But our plan, if I understand our strategic plan, it's to help aid, it's to drop bombs, it's to train mercenaries to go back and fight ISIS in Syria, none of which have been trained. How long is it going to take before we get all those people that are being trained in Saudi Arabia back in Syria to fight? How long do you think it will take?
Well, Congressman, the program is to train 5,000 per year, and the training we hope will start in March.
So a year from March?
And the program is to build
a year from March?
About 5,000 by then. And we have to be very
Excuse me, Ambassador, I'm not clear. Will it be 5,000 in March that will be trained, or will it be a year from March 2016 before we have those 5,000 fighters that we send back to Syria?
5,000 trained per year, and part of the reason is because of the vetting standards and that we're being very careful about this. But we're not sitting on our hands while we're doing a lot of things in parallel.
Excuse me, Mr. Ambassador, answer the question. Is it 5,000 in 2016 in March, where we hope that's our plan to have them trained by then?
The training we hope will begin in March.
But it'll take a year to train 5,000 people.
Yes, that's right.
So March of 2016, then we have a plan, then we have fighters, then we send them to Syria. There's no telling what ISIS can do in that year and however many months it is. Is the United States have some other strategic plan other than arming these folks that aren't going to show up till 2016, dropping bombs that are, whether they've been successful, and helping with military aid to some of these coalition countries? Is there a strategic plan overall that you know about in the State Department?
Yes, the Train and Equip program is one small element in an overall campaign. And this is a multi-year campaign. And phase one is Iraq. What we're doing in Syria right now is degrading ISIL's capacity. And every time we have had a local force on the ground that we can work with, and Kobani's a good example of this, we're working with Free Syrian Elements.
Reclaiming my time. What are we doing in Syria right now? I mean, people are dying in Syria, and the cavalry isn't showing up till 2016, the way I understand it. Is that correct?
Those trained and equipped units are not the only units on the field that we can work with in Syria.
Who else are we working with in Syria?
Well, we're working right now in Kobani with a number of units, and we're killing about 100 fighters.
Who are these people we're working with?
Well, Iraqi Kurdish Peshmerga, thanks to a deal we worked out with the Turks to open up a corridor from the Kurdistan region. And
they working in Syria, or are they working in Iraq?
In Syria. We brought the Iraqi Kurdish Peshmerga from Iraq into Kobani.
Last question. I'm sorry I'm out of time. Last question. Are we going to put more boots on the ground, American military, in the Middle East to defeat ISIS?
The President's policy is not to put combat forces on the ground in Iraq, but we have advisors and trainers
be
that are working
careful.
right now.
Middle East. I'm not going to talk about Iraq. In the Middle East, are more Americans going over to the Middle East to defeat and fight ISIS?
Well, we have about 30,000 troops in the region now. But
are more Americans going over to the Middle East to defeat and fight ISIS, other than what's already there?
Again, right now, I think we have a pretty large, substantial force deployment in the Middle East. I don't see the need for more right now, but again, I have to defer to my DOD colleagues
because you
about
don't
the
know.
overall force.